How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Ruffle Growlit, and welcome back to another video. Today, guys, we've got a bit of a discussion video to do again, and it's going to be pretty interesting. So, as you guys may know, we recently got the announcements for Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon during the Pokemon Direct, and today, actually, there was the Nintendo E3 presentation, so to say, the press conference, where they were showcasing new games that are going to be coming to the Nintendo Switch. Now, I personally did not expect any Pokemon news, considering we had the Pokemon Direct just recently, but we actually did get an announcement from Pokemon themselves saying during this Direct that they are working hard work making a Pokemon RPG for the Nintendo Switch. Now, an RPG is a role-playing game, and that's essentially where Pokemon, the main series Pokemon games, have been since day one with the first, Pokemon Red. That's essentially what we've had all since the start. So, this means, lads, that we're gonna be getting an official Pokemon game, like a main series game, on the Nintendo Switch. Now, what I want to do today is actually discuss what that might be, and if it's gonna be a remake of Diamond and Pearl, or we're gonna be getting, like, just a continuations of Sun and Moon again, or are we going to be getting the new generation, which I think is the most likely thing to happen. So joining me today are going to be Mike here, as you guys maybe know from previous discussions, is going to be joining me today to talk about this, as well as Cello, aka Cello, really, and his buddy Light, and also my buddy Light. And Cello and Light do own a Pokemon channel that they're working hard at right now, so do check them out in the link in the description down below. They'll be joining me today to talk about this, and let's see where we can go with this. So, first question is, Ben, do you think it's going to be a Gen 4 remake? Do you think it's going to be a Gen 8 like game, or do you think it's going to be something else? So, what do you think?
Yeah, so like I was saying, I was thinking maybe that it could be something like Pokemon XD, Gale of Darkness, something like that. You know what I mean? Like a remake of one of those games. And possibly just in a newer version with the new Pokemon added, and just ported to the Switch essentially, rather than, them making a whole new generation. I doubt they'd make a new generation. It'd be too much for them to put together with 3 games at one time, all in the same year, or the 2 years. So I reckon it would probably be a port of an old game, or a remake of an old game.
Okay, what about you, Jack? What do you think?
I don't know. I think it will be another Gen 4 game, but I really hope it's a Diamond and Pearl remake, and maybe Platinum as well, because that's what I'd really like to see on the Nintendo Switch.
Fair enough. And Stella, what do you think?
I'm thinking that since they're saying, RPG, right?
Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe the same as Ben said, Gate of Darkness.
Yeah.
But I'm also hoping for possible maybe Stadium or Coliseum.
Yeah, with those, I mean, Coliseum, I would say would work as that sort of game, but I don't think Stadium would work. Stadium wasn't an RPG. Stadium was more like a, just a battle kind of simulation thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but
that's also why I said Coliseum.
Yeah.
I think Coliseum is a very big likely.
I think though that is gonna be an official like main series game, and the reason for that is, I mean, one, they don't have any limitations anymore. You know what I mean? The limitations have been lifted from what they had with the Nintendo 3DS. So making it a main series game for the Nintendo Switch, considering the Nintendo Switch really has been selling like crazy now, like think about it, it is currently like performing hella good, and it's getting better and better over time. You know what I mean? The sales are just getting crazier and crazier, and more people want to Switch. And with this new lineup of games they had during E3 announcing stuff, like Metroid 4 and stuff like that, essentially with these extra games, the console's going to grow bigger, so there wouldn't be no reason for them not to make an official main series game, which is the best seller for Pokemon. Remember, like, their, main series games are the ones that sell the best, so making one for Nintendo Switch would be a good choice. I would not see a point in not doing that, but also, the reason why I think it's going to be definitely a main series game, or it's going to be like, we're going to get Diamond and Pearl for the 3DS, and then for the Switch we're going to be getting a brand new game and like a new kind of era of Pokemon, is because they did hire, and I don't know if you guys know about this, but like leaks were made that Game Freak was hiring developers, like 3D artists and developers, for a game that they said is something you probably, like most people probably know, and it's a very popular franchise. Like, of course, they're hiring people for Pokemon, because all their other games are really just low priority. Pokemon is their, highest, their big franchise, so to say. So I personally would say that I don't think we're going to be getting ourselves, like, something like XD, Gale of Darkness, or, like, one of those games. I do think we're going to be getting, like, a main series game, maybe even Gen 8. But then again, that's just what I'm speculating, so I want to know your opinions on that. Do you think that's a feasible theory, or do you think it's a bit too far-fetched? And I guess we'll go for Ben.
I would say, I don't think they do a Gen 8. I think they do a whole like reboot, not like a reboot as such, because obviously they're going to run the other series of games on the 3DS still. I feel like they're going to bring a new element of gameplay to Pokemon and kind of put it on the Switch and just lead that series on the Switch. You know, like they did with Gen 1 to Gen 7, what we have now. They'll just do that on the Switch with different like style of gameplay. Yeah. You know, to make it a different gaming experience.
But I think also, I mean, I guess you got to think about it. This is going to be the end of the life cycle for the, you know, like the next coming 2-3 years are going to be the end of the 3D, you know, the DS, Nintendo DS like era. You know what I mean? That era of like consoles is going to end soon, and what's going to overtake that era is going to be the Switch. The Switch is now the handheld plus the home console. It's, you know, a package, all of that in one package. You know what I mean? It's all in one. And they're selling it well. It's really performing well. Remember that. That is just, you gotta remember that shit, because it is really selling well. So it wouldn't surprise me if they decided, like, okay, we're done with the DS, we're done with the, you know, those consoles, the 3DS, it's done with. You know, 2DS, we've made all the games we could make for it. It's time to move on, and they're gonna move on to the, you know, the Nintendo Switch to make main series games for it, but like with a new formula. Because remember, you know, the switch between like DS to 3DS, you remember how huge that was, right? I mean, just think about it. You had yourself Black and White were the last DS games we had, and those were really good for their time, you know what I mean? They were really good games. Like, yes, the sprites were animated, the graphics were, you know, up to par for a Pokemon game, and then all of a sudden, at the flick of a wrist, you just had yourself, you know, just this huge change from like the pixel art to, I mean, still a pixel arty style, but 3D, you know, 3D art instead, which was insane. It was such a huge leap. We didn't have any more like small pixelated characters. Now we have like fully animated, huge, you know, actual humans, you know what I mean? It's just such a huge change between those two. So would it really surprise you if we did get something like XD Gale of Darkness, but it wasn't that formula with a, you know, a story that is, you know, not like the one we have in normal Pokemon games, but like, you know, an actual, you know, game in that style, but with the Pokemon formula that we've seen in all the main series games? What do you think about that? And I guess we'll go with Sella here. What do you think about that?
I think that sounds very likely to happen. I don't think they will be putting like, I think it's too early for like a full-on main game like Gen 8 or a remake of something. I think it's way too early. Like they're getting out Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon later this year, like almost at the end of this year, and having that in 2018, like another main game, I think it's a bit too much. Like it's making a whole new like generation already. I think it's too early.
But then again, we will have 2 years past between that time. You know what I mean? We will have 2 years of like, you know, passage between that. And also, actually, like I said, I do think this is definitely going to be the thing that's going to happen the most. We're going to have a, you know, a Diamond and Pearl remake next year for sure. Something to still, because they got to still make their money. That's, at the end of the day, they're a company. They want to make their, you know, their revenue. And, you know, making a remake of Diamond and Pearl, that is definitely going to bring you revenue, especially with their audience in Japan. Like, I don't know if you guys noticed, but there were so many people in Japan asking for a Diamond and Pearl remake. Like, more people than we have in, like, the West over here. Like, just freaking out, wanting that. Like, it was insane how many people wanted it. So it wouldn't surprise me, especially with Game Freak and Nintendo being a Japanese-based, you know, company, it wouldn't surprise me if they all of a sudden you were like, you know, oh, next year, guess what? You're getting an RPG for the Switch of Pokemon, and you're getting a Diamond and Pearl remake. It is definitely going to happen. I just have a very high feeling of that's what we're gonna be getting next year. Then again, what could this bring? Like, if we did get a Diamond and Pearl remake, we'll be seeing, like, you know, the same limitations we've had with the 3DS up until now with, like, you know, frame lag and all this stuff. Like, will that be coming in? Because remember, Diamond and Pearl were some of the biggest Pokemon games. Like, they had the longest story. It was the most drawn-out games we've ever had. And just the general, like, Sinnoh region was pretty big. Like, pretty large, like, in all honesty. So, I don't know. What do you think, Light? What do you think about, like, this sort of like way of going with it, like Diamond and Pearl remakes, and then also something as like, you know, a RPG like XD Gale of Darkness or something like that? What do you think about that?
In my opinion, I'm not so bothered about their 2018 game, but I'm very hyped for a Diamond and Pearl remake. But I'm just hoping that they decide to do that, because that's really what the fans want, and it was expressed a lot. And some people were annoyed about seeing Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, but I think Pokemon will listen and we'll see a Diamond and Pearl remake soon.
For sure. And especially with the minor hints during the Direct. If you guys remember that, like there was like missing Diamond and Pearl were missing behind, when they were presenting it on the shelf, Diamond and Pearl was missing, and it's just like I feel like Diamond and Pearl are definitely what we're getting next. But who knows? Like you never know with Nintendo and Game Freak. You never know what you're gonna be getting. So I am very skeptical about what we might be getting, but I do have a very positive mindset towards the fact that we might be getting, probably Diamond and Pearl remakes for the 3DS and the 2DS, and then we're going to be getting, a fully new RPG, or maybe even, and this is just, stretching, like, in my mind, just stretching it a bit, maybe Gen 8. It's just a maybe on that one. It doesn't mean confirmed or that's going to happen, but just a maybe. So I'm just going to say, on a whim, Diamond and Pearl remakes next year, 3DS and 2DS, and then a brand new, format for Pokemon for the... I mean, it's going to be an RPG, so either it's going to be a main series game, or it's going to be like a brand new format of the main series game in a new style. So we'll just have to wait and see what we're going to be getting. But I'm actually really hyped, and I want to thank you guys for just talking to me and kind of discussing this. And I want to ask you viewers, what do you think we're going to be getting next year from Pokemon? Do you think Diamond and Pearl remakes are going to be happening? And do you think we're going to be getting a Gen 8 game? Or are we going to be getting something in that sort of manner? I want to know your opinions, lads. And I want to thank you all for joining me in today's video. I'll catch you all in the next one, and bye-bye.